this is our third webinar now with Sovereign Health Group. We're offering it once a month, and you're able to earn 1 CEU. So thank you again for registering, and thank you for participating this morning. Just a little bit about us. We have locations in San Clemente and Culver City, and we have treatments for dual diagnosis, mental health, and eating disorder for adults, males and females. And go ahead and go on to the next slide, Soleil.
Okay. That would be me.
Yes, that would be. So we want to welcome, Soleil Hepner. Thank you so much for being with us, Soleil, and apologize for any technical confusion and difficulties. But today she will be speaking about, the topic will be, can your body change your mind? Get out of the chair and onto the mat. And she's actually certified as a Phoenix Rising Somatic Yoga therapist. So welcome, Soleil, and go ahead and please begin.
Great, thank you. And hello everyone out there. It's very odd to be doing this talk and not being able to see everyone. So I don't know if I'm talking to air or not. I'm sitting in a really cold event room right now, and it's empty. It's totally empty. So it's interesting, you know, this morning has been a very difficult morning. I've actually put in 4 hours of driving so far. So when we talk about our bodies today, know that I'm talking from some personal experience for today. And there's probably some of you who know a little bit about Phoenix Rising Yoga Therapy, or in fact use some kind of somatic therapy in your practice. There's some who don't know anything at all out there. And I think there are even a few of you Phoenix Rising people out there, so I want to welcome you as well. This is, you know, new no matter how much you've been doing this. I want to offer to you to have sort of beginner's mind idea, have a little bit of wonderment, a little bit of curiosity about something that might be new or something that might be old but have some new components in us. When I first decided to title this webinar, Do Our Bodies Change Our Minds, it's because I listened to this wonderful TED Talk by Amy Cuddy, and she's a social psychologist, professor at Harvard, and she works in this sort of somatic realm. Her questions are, you know, we know that the mind can change the body. Placebo effect is one of the ways that we know that. But she was more curious on whether our bodies can change our minds. And well, just take a moment right now. I need this probably more than you all do. But just stop what you're doing. And I hope you're not doing anything besides listening to the webinar. So if you are, turn everything off. But just stop and notice where your body is right now. You know, don't try to do anything. Just see if you're kind of leaning over your computer or your phone. Are you a little crunched in? Are you kind of open and wide? For me, I actually stood up. I started walking around. I needed to bring a little more oomph into my life. So typically when I do this, and I ask this question, there are people that I can actually look at because I give this talk in front of people. And what I notice is there may be people who are sort of maybe yawning and slumped over a little bit, and then I think, oh, I better be a little more interesting here, otherwise I'm going to lose them. Or maybe their body language kind of shows that their arms are open wide and their eyes are wide, and I think, oh yeah, they're getting it, you know, they're into it or something. But so we know that body language can change, you know, other people's minds and behavior. But that's not the question that Amy asked. She asked, can our bodies change our minds? So when I went to stand just now, I realized I was kind of hunched over. I wasn't feeling much like I could speak with any sort of authority, with any sort of power in who I am. And so I stood because I knew that the change of my body would bring a little bit more of that power into me. So that's what we get to explore. For our clients, it's not that We're not asking our clients to do something in their body and then, you know, they're trying to get us as practitioners or therapists to change. But we want them to recognize their own bodies so that they have a tool in which they can then change their own minds. So I listened to a interview with Bessel van der Kolk, professor of psychiatry here, the other week, and he talks about trauma, which is his specialty, and how you can't really reach the verbal parts of our neural networks when trauma is occurring. He says this: traditional therapy ignores the sensate dimension. Research shows specifically yoga and mindfulness meditation can have a very profound impact on the activation of critical parts of your brain that helps you to be in charge. And often those critical parts of the brain are nonverbal. And therefore, we at Phoenix Rising Yoga Therapy work somatically. We work in the body. Now, whenever I go to a party, you know, you go there and people ask, I love this question, so what do you do, right? And, oh, I wish you were in front of me because so many people nod their heads at that, so I just have to imagine that. But that question, so what do you do, is one that when I sort of flippantly answer, oh, I do, you know, Phoenix Rising Yoga Therapy, or I do yoga therapy, or I do therapeutic yoga. Unfortunately, whenever they hear the term yoga, they immediately ask me, well, where do you teach? Well, let me just say that I don't teach yoga. I don't teach yoga in the way that we've come to know yoga, which is sort of this, you know, pretty yoga teacher in front of a bunch of sweating people, smiling blissfully as she's coaxing them to put their foot behind their head. It's not that that's wrong. It's just not what we do here in Phoenix Rising Land. Okay, can you hear me now? Hello? Okay. All right. So unfortunately, yoga has come to be known as this sort of fitness, kind of stretchy, bendy, nice, quiet, relaxed sort of place where you do all these postures, right? And it's not that we don't use the postures, but really this is the yoga of self-study. Yoga simply means to come into union, to yoke. And though that union perhaps maybe with the divine, there's also the union of mind and body and emotions. And though we use asana, the postures, and we use the breath, and we use the meditation for us, those are simply tools. So know that, yes, we are doing yoga, but no, it's not the type of yoga that most people have come to know. The other aspect, though, of Phoenix Rising is actually taken from Carl Rogers. And basically, we use his philosophy that everything within ourselves and our clients is already there in order for them to heal and enhance their life. And as practitioners or as therapists, we're there to help facilitate that process, and therefore we teach tools such as active listening and unconditional positive regard. This is one of my favorite quotes of his: experience is for me the highest authority. And just so you know, for today, what we're turning to, as he says, it is to experience that I must return again and again to discover a closer approximation to truth as it is in becoming in me. So that's actually where we're going to go, is into your own experience, and hopefully then that experience can be offered out to your clients and any of the folks around you. All right, so we have the yoga aspect, and we have Carl Rogers as well. Okay, so I'm going to focus on three essential elements that are in Phoenix Rising Yoga Therapy. These are three elements that you can use to have the body, notice the body, in order to change your mind. Okay? So the three triple A elements, I call them: awareness, acceptance, and action. Awareness, acceptance, and action. I've been told when you're speaking you're supposed to say these things, repeat them 3 times, and you're supposed to be funny. So here they are again: awareness, acceptance, and action. Okay? And we're going to go through each of those parts with a little experience on them, and and then we'll come back together at the end, and there'll be a place for questions and comments. So my suggestion to you is if you have something come up, write it down so that you don't forget about it, something that you might want to explore for later. All right? Let's see. Okay. I know you can't hear me. Because here's the thing. I did that silence on purpose. So just notice what sort of showed up for you in that silence. Did you attempt to move around, try to fix? I know Alana and Ravi probably tried to fix things. So that's your physical body having a reaction to something that was perhaps a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe your mind went, oh no, there's that technology thing again, this sucks, or whatever it is. There's our judging mind, right? It gets really loud. There's also that emotional aspect, maybe a little frustration. I certainly had a lot of that this morning. Or maybe there's this part of you that wanted to reach out and go, maybe I should let them know, I'm not hearing it. There's that compassionate part. That's a spiritual aspect. And so if you can see the slides, you'll see that there's that little bit of therapeutic discomfort that Peva Children calls it. We call it working at the edge. And it can be as subtle as seeing the slide sideways or hearing some silence occur. Not sure what's happening in that for those of you who that bothers you. I've changed the slide so it's now right side up. So these are the areas that we can work in awareness. And we're going to do a little bit of that. We're just going to start someplace. So what I'm going to take you through are basically 3 different parts of a Phoenix Rising yoga therapy session. There are 3 parts. Now, we do sessions in private. We have privates, but unlike most of you who are therapists and you work with people in chairs, we do the same thing. We just sit people on the mat, okay? And because we're going to include the physical body in this. Okay? And then, but it works the same if we're in a group. So right now, I'm kind of working with all of you. And there's this group interaction that's happening, but it's the same process. And the very start of this process is simply turning inward, seeing where you are right now. It's probably what you offer to your clients in order to get them present to what's happening. So since this is about your experience, let's do that. So if you're sitting, find a way of sitting in a comfortable position, but with a little attention to your body. So I wouldn't slouch so much that you feel like you're going to fall asleep, unless this is so boring for you that maybe it would be a good time for a nap. So go ahead and just, sit your body in a way that has a little comfort to it. And I'm going to have you close your eyes. Now, I'm assuming you're in a place that's quiet. It's okay if you're closing your eyes. If that doesn't feel comfortable or appropriate for you, you can keep your eyes open. That's fine. There's nothing that I'm going to put on the screen that you need to see because, of course, we're referring to Carl Rogers' work and his belief that everything is within you to know what you need in order to heal and enhance your life. And so we're going to practice that. All right? So go ahead and close your eyes. Again, if that's not appropriate, just soften your gaze. Maybe just look a foot or 2 in front of your feet. Take a deep breath into the nose, open the mouth, and sigh it out. Just kind of a few long, deep sighs. And then allow your breath to become a little more natural. No particular type of breath, just a simple breathe in and breathe out. So allow that beginner's mind to be here. Remember, a little curiosity, a little bit of wonder as you notice your breath. And notice which parts of your life want to be here right now. Like you're doing this webinar and it's during the week, you might be at work. So allow life to be there with you. Just notice which parts want to show up. Maybe it's about work, but maybe it's about something happening in home or in a relationship with yourself. So this isn't about pushing life away. This is about allowing everything to be just as it is. And follow your breath into your physical body. Just acknowledge how you chose to sit, what position you put your body into, and the sensations that come up from that. But maybe you didn't really find comfort, and just notice what it's like to struggle a little bit. You know, we struggle in our bodies, we struggle in our life. There's no right or wrong to the way you're sitting. It's just your seat right now. Notice, too, your emotions here. Just, you know, life is here with you. So what emotions are really close to the surface? Which emotions are available to you? Which ones are you allowing in? And which emotions do you push away? You know, which ones feel like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that one right now. So they're a little more hidden, a little more subtle. And then switch and notice your mind now. Just look at all the thoughts that are coming through. Oh, I like this, I don't like this. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? You know, that's what our minds do. They judge, they want. They're telling us about what happened earlier, what we're going to do after this, you know, lunch might be happening. So just watch your mind doing all the things that it's doing. And there's no right or wrong to this. You just get to watch it, be curious. Be curious. Take a deep breath in. Let all that go. And here you are, sitting, breathing, feeling, thinking. And you've taken this webinar for a reason, so go back and kind of inquire about, well, what is it about this that was interesting to you? Maybe it was just the free CEU that you wanted. Or maybe there was something that was even more underlying all of that. And see if that's still valid for you. But now that you are here, what is it that you'd like to get out of our next half hour or so? What would be a nice little gift to get by the end of our time together? And just allow that to settle into you as your intention. It's not that we need to make that happen, but just know it's something of an inquiry for you. Something you desire. Take a deep breath in, let it go. Open your eyes, come back out into the room or wherever you are. You know, it's funny, there's a client of mine who came in, she was a therapist, and she came in very distraught. She was dealing with a client who was suicidal, and she thought she might lose her. And she really wanted to be able to work on this in our session. She felt that she was, that there was something there and she really needed to work on it. And we went through this centering process and she came to that intention, you know, what is it that she really wanted? And she realized, you know, I don't want to deal with this at all. She said, I just need a break from it all. I put too much out there for others, and I don't take time for myself. And hence, that was the intention that ran underneath, and what was really needed when you get into the moment. All right? So just consider your intention. And know, too, that it really wasn't up to me, her intention, the therapist who came in, it wasn't up to me or up to her for her to actually relax, not think about it. Because here's what happened. She needed to actually go through the process of thinking about it in her body and in her mind and in her emotions. And eventually she did find quiet and the relaxation and coming into herself. But what was most interesting for her at the end of it all was to see how much she really did give to others, and that she really needed to check in with that. Okay, I'm going to skip selective awareness and go on to the next layer, the next level of awareness. So we start a session with that centering process. It kind of gives us the starting point. Lets us know and lets the client know, okay, what's really going on right now above and beyond all the things I just simply talked about. Okay? So the next part of the session is typically where we move into some sort of assisted postures. But a place that we can start is actually hands-off with the body scan. Now, some of you have probably done body scans before, so my offer here is to stay in that beginner's mind. Notice what's a little different about this body scan. And then if you do have any questions, remember to offer them up at the end, and we'll have a little question and answer there. Now, Alana, if you can hear this, or Ravi, know that my phone has died, so I don't have a way of seeing what time it is. And if you would just send me the time, that would be great, so I know how much I have left. Okay, for everyone else, we're going to be doing this body scan. Again, there's no need now to be looking at the screen, so what I'm going to have you do is actually come to stand and just stand in any direction you want, any way that you want. If you want to stick a hip out and land on one foot, or if you're standing straight on both. If standing doesn't feel appropriate, you can certainly do this sitting as well, but kind of come to the edge of your seat, or at least bring some real attention to your body here. Got that, Alana? Thanks. All right. So again, closing your eyes again, the opportunity is to go inward, so we have people close their eyes so that they're not having a conversation with the practitioner or the therapist who's in front of them. So go ahead and do that. Take a deep breath in again. Breathe it out. We're going to move through this a little quickly. So plant your feet on the floor. Notice what it's like to be standing in your stance right now. Move your awareness now to your feet, bottoms of your feet, the top of your feet, into your ankles. Just the lower part of the legs now, from the knees down. And so the things that you get to notice are sensations, but you might also have a thought or a picture or a memory or a color. Those things may show up, come up into the upper part of your legs now, above the knees, your thighs. Noticing your motion, an image, hot, cold, temperature, weight. Moving up into your hips and pelvis, buttocks, low belly, this sort of core part of your body. Just bringing the awareness there, like you're looking at yourself from the inside, curious again. And then moving up into higher into the torso, mid-torso, rib cage, middle of the back. Just being curious here, collecting information, moving into the chest, upper part of the back, shoulders, moving down your arms, upper arms, elbows, lower arms, hands, fingers, coming back up to the neck, the throat, the head, the face. What's here in this part of the body. And whole body once again, just standing, breathing, whole body, whole body. Now imagine you could divide your body and begin to pay attention to just the left side, just your left side of the body. And notice its thoughts and images and emotions, its qualities, color, temperature, weight. Who is it that's here on the left side? Perhaps there's a voice or an age, a desire or a want here, left side. And then shift over to the right side and just watch your transition as you move from the left side to the right side. Notice what that's like. And begin to notice your right side. Notice its colors and temperature and sensations. Its thoughts and feelings and images. Right side now. Who's here on the right side? And then bring your right side back together again with your left side. Notice that transition. Notice where the sides are. Notice where the line is that you drew. And come back again to whole body. Right and left together, your whole body standing, breathing. Nowhere to go, nothing to figure out. Whole body here. And open your eyes and come back in. All right. So just notice the information that you collected there. How maybe you might want to share that out as if there was someone there with you, perhaps there is. But what are the things that you might say about that? What is it that was kind of interesting? And one of the things that I know often I do the left-right split because there can often be a lot of difference between the left and right side. And here's the thing, we're moving into step 2. We did the awareness, and we're moving into acceptance. And one of the things that we're going to be working with is acceptance with different parts of you. Okay? Acceptance with different parts. So the left and right side is one way of seeing those parts. Notice that I have this wonderful quote by Tom Horvath, who's president of Practical Recovery in San Diego. This is from his book, Sex, Drugs, Gambling, Chocolate. Figured any book that started with sex and ended with chocolate was one I should probably read. But he talks about this conflict. Conflict is the stuff of daily life. Conflict can occur between a desire for substance-induced euphoria and a desire for health. Recognizing and examining this conflict are the first steps to managing addiction. Both sides need to sit at the negotiating table and air their agendas. Okay, so this is our second part, acceptance. In negotiation, both parts get to be heard. Both parts get to be heard, okay? Alana, give me time again. All right. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to let you drop back in. Drop back in. Close your eyes. You know, come to stand or sit, or maybe find the posture that feels best in your body right now, especially with the information that you just collected. I'm going to have you go back to the left and right side. So you may want to move with this, but go ahead and drop back in, close your eyes, take a breath or two, and notice which side perhaps was louder then, but which side is loud right now? Like which side needs a little attention, okay? Which side is trying to go, hey, hey, over here. I got something to say. So let your body go to that side. Like find the posture in your body of that loud side. I'm going to call it the loud part. And it might be your left or right side, or maybe it's just another part of your body. So let it get loud. Let it get loud, right? Really dive into it. What's it loud about, right? Ask it, who are you? What do you got to tell me? Yeah? Let it talk. And then shift to the quieter side. So that might be your left or right side. It might just be a quieter part of your body. Something that feels kind of different than that loud part. And find your posture in that. Find a way of being with that quieter part. Quieter part. Can hear the loud part. So whatever the loud part said, let the quieter part respond to it. What's it got to say? What's it want the loud part to know? And then go back to the loud part. Did it hear? We're negotiating here, right? We're negotiating and validating and accepting that both these parts exist. So let the loud part talk again. Let it say whatever it needs to say now, or show you. Maybe it's not words that it's using. Maybe it needs to show you. Switch to the quiet part and let it show you or tell you. Talk to the loud part. So I'm just going to get quiet just for 30 seconds or so you can have that conversation. Don't worry, I'm still here. And then take a deep breath. Know that that conversation can continue later, all right? That conversation can continue, but just notice where the loud and quiet part is right now. Okay. Come back into the room, open your eyes. Have a seat. So let me tell you something about these two parts. I have a client who came in and was working with a part of his body that he was physically having some real pain in. And the pain was not physical. He'd been to doctors. The pain was a body memory because he had been on heroin and had died 3 times and had been resuscitated with paddles each of those times. The pain was always in his chest, always in his chest. And he came in and he sat down. He said, "It really hurts today." And he was sitting with his legs out in front of him on the ground. And I brought a chair in and I put the chair right up against that part of his chest, kind of the heart center. And I had him grab around the back of the chair. And I had him lean forward into the chair so that he was at that therapeutic discomfort, at that edge. And he worked it so hard. His eyes were closed and we were dialoguing. What's happening now? Nothing. Nothing's happening, he says. I don't want to go there. But he was working with the chair. He may not have wanted to go there, but he was working so hard, that chair against his body. I said, well, tell me more about nothing. Nothing. I don't feel anything here. I don't want to feel anything. And then he got silent. Because again, you get into those nonverbal places, and it's hard to find words, but I could see he was working with that chair. And it took about 15 minutes before he decided he let go of the chair. It happened all in an instant. He just let go of the chair and fell back, laid down on his back. And his whole body just relaxed. Now, I asked him again, what's happening now? He said, nothing. And I said, tell me more about nothing. And he didn't know what to say. And again, it took him about 10, 15 minutes before he was able to find the words, I'm relaxed, which was a huge thing because he had never been able to, or it had been years since he had been able to experience relaxed. Okay. So now we get into the final part of what a session is, and that's to do a little integration. So it's great. My client got to feel relaxed. But it's one thing to feel it on the mat and be able to experience it there and to be taught these tools. But we don't live on the mat. Our clients don't live in the chairs with us, even though some of them may want to. And so we need to offer a way for them to be in action in their life outside of our place. And again, because we're Rogerian, Phoenix Rising people believe that they can find their own action. So I'm going to take you through that process of finding an action. So go ahead and have a seat again, whatever comfortable, or maybe it's a different seat, maybe you're supporting yourself differently, you have more information. Once you find the seat, close your eyes, take a deep breath in. Come back into your own space, your own place, your own body, your own breath. Notice where you are right now. Kind of look at that intention that you had said earlier. Just see if it played out. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. And then look at everything that just happened since you first opened up the computer and got online and started listening to this. Notice what parts of your body you paid attention to, what parts spoke, what parts were quiet. When you look at everything that just happened, what's the key piece? What feels most significant? And just tell yourself more about that. What feels most significant? And why is it significant? Why in your life right now is that important for you? Why is that important? And if it is so important in your life, or if it's missing in some way, what is it that you want to do about that? What action might you take today, maybe tomorrow, that would help bring more of this into your life, that would support you with what you just discovered? Kind of action. And then imagine yourself doing that. Imagine what it's going to be like to take your own advice, to put what you found into action outside of here. So let me tell you, my client who was working with the holding on and the letting go, the relaxed and the pain, right? He was working with those two parts of himself. And when he came up for integration and came into an action, I won't tell you everything that happened there because it was kind of a big one for him. But he came to the action and he found something that felt significant to him to go do. He said, I'm going to go have fun. I said, oh, what's that going to look like today? Because though we don't want to give them what their action is, we certainly can have them specify, right? Get clear, well, what's that going to look like today? He said, I'm in San Diego. So he said, I'm going to go down to the beach. I'm going to go swimming. He said, I've lived here for a year and I barely make it water. And he said, I'm going to go swimming. And he said, I'm going to take my shirt off and let the waves hit that part of my body. Beautiful. Perfect. His action. He was so, because it was his action and it came from him, he knew it. He started to specify things about it himself. So the power of action. So those are the three elements: awareness, acceptance, and action, seen in the three parts of the Phoenix Rising session, which is centering and the body and dialogue and integration. Okay. So at this point, I can be open for questions. I'll just switch my slides so you can see what's next. Okay. So let me just put out, for those who are there, I do have a website called carefortherapist.com. And there's a stretch clock that you can download. It pops up an automatic video that reminds you to get up and stretch. So if you're seeing clients and you have 10 minutes between one client and another, this is like 3 minutes of that time. It'll put you through a stretch, and it'll also stretch your mind. Okay? There are also in the Self-Care Center podcasts that you can download that take you through the centering, take you through our body scan, take you through integration, okay, and a few other body scans there as well. There's no questions coming through so far. I know there's sometimes a delay with that. Let me put something out to you that I made this so quick that I didn't cover. The body scan, consider what the body scan is different about in the way that we did it here in Phoenix Rising and the way that you might have done them before. I train therapists all the time, and I know when we get to the body scan, one of the things that they always notice is that, oh, I've only done a body scan lying down. And I ask, so what's the intention when you do a body scan that's lying down? What's the intention behind that? And they say, well, it's really relaxing. Exactly. So there are body scans where the intention is to help people to relax. Phoenix Rising, relaxation may happen during Phoenix Rising, but our intention is to actually wake people up, to bring them into an awareness that goes beyond being in a relaxed body, because sometimes the realization is, oh, my body is not relaxed, and I need to be more relaxed. I need to be even less relaxed. I need to really be tense right now, like my client with that chair. He needed to be tense. He needed to feel all the pain and the tension that was happening while he sat with that chair there. He could have stayed that way the whole session, and that would have been fine, because I would have trusted in a Rogerian way that he knew what he needed at that moment in order to heal his life. That he found the flip side of that in relaxation was fine. He was ready for it.
Thank you so much, Soleil. Before we end, thank you so much. I really loved that body scan exercise. That was wonderful. So I wanted to just let everyone know, again, how to participate for the CEUs. Just a friendly reminder, we'll be sending out information on the CEU as well as the recording of the PowerPoints and everything within 3 days. So just anticipate that. We have your email information if you registered, so that will be in. And then you will need to sign up for the continuing education program if you haven't already, and that's the website to participate in. And also feel free to write us at CEU events at Solve Health, and there's it's misspelled. It's SOVHealth, HEALTH.com. So just make sure to email us with any questions regarding that, and want to thank you again, and thank you so much, Soleil, for your presentation. It was amazing. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Alana.